welcome in. Glad you guys could come into the abode. Just good to see you. Good to come in and share this space and share this time. Open our ears, indulge into our soul, take in frequency and vibration, uplift ourselves, do the things that we need to do for our advancement and our journey and our role with ourselves as we are enlightened, trying to keep up with the things going on. So thank you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the last video when we had a word of the day and we talked about we just talked about how important it is to understand what sincerity plays in frequency, vibration, and the being powerful. You're talking about pure state was sincerity. Wholeness state, sincerity. Pure state, sincerity. This is what it was saying. The sincerity are states of these things. We're going through these like atonements and cleansings as we go through the higher places. Through these processes, we're actually going through these rites of passage, and we keep washing our hands and keep going through these processes that we were told and showed even we're outside ourselves, which really was about within ourselves, because this is the esoteric, is the within, right? These processes of purification are going each level, purifying us through processes of fire, because fire's a cleanser, and this isn't the open natural fire. There's a fire going through us that are cleansing us from those lower levels of dross, right, and corruptions, and just lower levels of things that didn't serve us. And as we go to the next level of consciousness, we get purified to go through, because this takes a fire purification for the rising, because what rises, fire rises, right? Living in a complex that has floors. There's this old saying for the top floor folks during the summer, you're going to be hotter than the lower folks, because heat does what? Fire rises. Heat, fire rises. Heat, fire rises. Very easy concept. And as we rise, we're going through this purification from the heat that's purifying our souls from ego and things of disbelief and some illusions or delusions, if I may say so myself. So we got another word of the day. We're just going to go ahead and crank that in. Go in there. I'm just so glad you guys are here. I'm glad you guys keep supporting the channel, keep being on it. I'm being a consistent one, trying to be consistent, because I got some old videos. And if you look at me, I'm just going to be honest, at my older videos, you're going to go back out. These were back in 2016, 2017, as far back. And I'm going to tell you, yes, they were, maybe even some 215s. My thing was there was some lack at times of being consistent with doing this, and I'm really focusing in on the consistency now as I'm going through my purifications of this. And this is going to be seen today in this word of the day. We got another WOTD, which makes me, I know a lot of people like WOTD. A lot of people like WOTD, and don't blame them. WOTD is pretty cool. I was trying to lock this and get everything off the screen, and I don't know that I can get everything off of it, but let's see what we can do here. Nah, let's go back and open this back up. No, we'll get some of this off the screen. I don't care about none of you guys. Okay, and we're going to talk about something that you guys all heard through your life. Old folks used to say this. School used to say it. People would say it if you work in certain jobs. Are you coherence? Are you coherent? I even see it has the key word is the co. So there's two aspects converting to almost one here, like being co-creators, being co-stars, being even codependent in a different way can be a lower realm of this not operating in the best place. But coherence is actually a place of, we're going to go in and read it, a place of understanding, but a place of not just understanding with a connection. So connection, there you go, suitable connection or dependence, consistency. Wow. Just like I was talking about me being consistent in a narrative or an argument, also more literally an active state of sticking or cleaving of one thing to another, right? Cleaving. Going down when I hear that present particle, stick together, be coherent, assimilated, right? Of togetherness. There's actually an adherence, a stick, even says see hesitation. So what I see with that is this is two aspects clinging to each other to be one. If I can even take this to the higher stages, this would be a unified consciousness in the higher realms where you might have some double, but the two become one. This is assimilating as one from multi-levels because you have a right? There's there's two becoming one. In the coherence, we see it. Are you coherent? Do you understand or sticking with what I'm saying to you? Are you getting this, even coherent? Are you coherent enough to understand? Can you understand what I'm saying? Trying to bring forth a point. Assimilated, come together in oneness, unity, which is really would be a unified consciousness of all things becoming one, unified, not living in a duality and pushing duality of separateness in divided consciousness, right? Coherence is actually assimilating it together by understanding it, becoming one, because when you get in these higher levels, it ain't about fighting ego, right? It's the ego is not going to flip you into the reality judge that it does. The ego is very much a reality judge that wants to go into fear. That's really going to default settings fear. This is not. This is coming into alignment with each other, like four tires become into one alignment. Goes into hesitation. I guess the word stick, see hesitation, coherency, coherence, incoherence, want of coherence in thought of language, formed on the modern Italian literal sense, want of physical coherence. What is this here? Trying to see what this is. Together. That's the two becoming one. Meaning together, like I said, taking prefix meaning one, mutually in common. You know, we have people that we've met, co-workers with native, beginning with vowels. There's your codependent, like I said earlier. So you really see this as a oneness that can be in there as we go into the higher levels of self. Let me even show you how we can go into the lower levels of self, and it's not really a coherence. It becomes like a being stuck. Because remember, the propos of this, the two would become one, almost a sticking together. There's a lot of times that we live in ego, and we can live in ego, and many people, another level, this wouldn't be for those who are raising their consciousness, but just think about when you see others who are not, and it's easy to go in judgment against them. It's very easy because we want to judge. They don't get it. I've been there. We've all been there. Who know, right? Remember, they can go into cohesiveness or almost a gluing together to their ego in lower thinking. They're so connected in their ego, it's almost like the Gnostics would call it. The Gnostics would call it almost like material adhesiveness, meaning you're so adhesive and stuck to the material world that you can't raise. That would be the negative aspect of this, right? In many ways, you might say that's incoherent, but really the coherent in the incoherent, which is an interesting word when I look at in, because I always manage that in, but when we look at incoherent, we look at it as something that's trying to connect it on a lower level, right? Like it says here, trying to do it physically. Usually that which is done in this level can't be done on a physical level through the physical. It'd have to be done on the higher level, and then the higher level being able to retain the physical and operate from the higher level within the physical. So when you're doing it in the lower level, you become adhesive because you're really promoting the material world as being the ultimate. instead of your higher self or higher consciousness, looking to even go on higher and connect to your oversoul from their oversoul family. So you have met people in your spiritual life that you're just like connected to, right? They're just like, man, I've been one with them. I've been one at a time. I've been one with them through my life. It seems like we're on the same path. It seems like we've stayed together, and I've talked about this even with the karmic relationships, maybe some of them being short-termed, right? But they got us to where we needed to go at that time, even if it pissed us off or got us angry, because there's a lesson to be learned in that for growth. Seeing yourself, seeing them, discern them, but also see yourself as the main culprit in this, because the only one you can change and make design of collaboration or integrating is yourself, right? To collaborately integrate yourself with yourself, being your higher self integrating with you, which is really you, even in the oversoul aspects of that. I hope I'm saying that right. This makes sense to me when I think about it, but it might be coming out my words right, because I'm just kind of seeing this right now. The co-creating, the cohabitation, all this stuff that we see in oneness, unity, that will try to interact in the outside by the incoherent, but they really can't do it because that's a divided place. That if you're doing it through the outer lenses or the outside of yourself, it doesn't work, because that's divided places. That's been divided physically. But within, if you can get it in the higher places, then you can manifest it through the physical, but it's the proper place it comes from is the higher place. You can't operate it. The sense of where it comes from can't be in the lower place or outside of you. Heavily. This is really heavy when you start thinking about it. The being coherent is the two becoming one. You becoming into a state of oneness, Christ consciousness, oneness consciousness, unity consciousness, and Christ consciousness is really all the same. Same word, just using different words according to what you studied and what you went through, whether you were going through alchemy, Christian Gnosticism, whether you're going through Buddhism, higher realms, because even in Buddhism, and I will be bringing this out later, I'm really in the certain place right now. I feel it, because there's going to be more videos on this stuff. I'm adding this even into what I was doing previous videos. If you really pay attention, there's a lot of cookie crumbs or cracker crumbs connecting to Parma's video, even in these words of the day. This word of the day and the one that preceded it, sincerity, was connected to even the oversoul, the night of the dark soul, the night of the dark night of the soul, the oversoul before that, and even now, even what I was talking about, what is soul loss? Soul loss is connected to this, and we really need to see that it's not you losing anything, but the disconnection is in your fragmentation of your mind or your memory, not really realizing that the connection's there because you're really disconnected. You feel in a low realm that takes you into a lower place that manifests. Actually, we went out and had this video over mental health situations. So yeah, it's a very, very tedious, but very, very. We're gonna go out of here. I think that's good. Let me look one more. No, it's going into other words. No, we're good. All right. So yeah, the connecting of the two becoming one. Right, we see this mentioned in marriage. A man shall cleave, and it talked about cleaving to something is connecting to it. And this even goes into alchemy. When you get two types of a water and a fire, and you're combining them, and they become one together, which is possible. We're living in a body that combines earth, water, fire, and air now in the material. But how does it work in the higher realms? To us have to know how to use it in the physical realm from the higher realms to be the higher essence of being in the physical or material world, right? Is what alchemy really is. The exoteric alchemy is turning metal into a higher metal. The esoteric is turning your slower divided self into the unification of its highest self, is actually what it is. How do you turn you know, the connection of water and oil. How does that work, right? We're water, we got oil. Well, oil's a type of Christ coming down there. So combining coherent, right, is combining two elements even in the higher spaces and making them one and function and work together as though they are one. And we'll be talking about this in a deeper reason, sprinkles on the next videos. You guys have a great day.